I hope you're having a good weekend. Driving Uber is pretty slow out there, so you probably stay at home. You're probably staying home tonight because, well, if you're in Central Texas area, it's a little cool this evening. We got some cold winds coming in out of the north. It's supposed to get down to right about freezing or under by morning time. So, see how it's going. How's everybody? Anybody on with me yet? Give me a chat message there in the chat if you're here with me. Anybody with me yet? Sometimes the notifications on my end come in a little bit slower than, that in the chat. A little bit slower than you actually end up coming on or chatting. So sorry that YouTube does that. Sometimes it's not immediate. Looks like we got one viewer. Hey, Woodrow Swanson. Happy New Year's. Same to you. Thank you. Yeah, it's getting colder outside right now here in Central Texas. Woodrow, you in the Central Texas area or Austin area? Can't remember. By the way, everybody, thank you for over 600 subscribers. I appreciate it. I don't ever catch everybody at the same time, no, so I was lucky with Woodrow. Oh yeah, San Antonio. I'm here in Austin. Northwest San Antonio. A friend of mine posted on Facebook. They got some snow. Did you see some snow? Not sure if you saw snow. I know Northwest did. I can't even remember the name of that suburb my old friend's in. But they posted pictures. They got probably about a half inch or so of snow. I guess earlier in the morning or midday. Hey, 7 people. How you doing? Of course, Happy New Year's. And hope you're staying warm. Thank you for the likes. But yeah, it's going to get cold by morning. Hopefully you don't have any pets outside or sensitive plants. You got to wrap them, or if they're in a pot, be able to bring them in. I got some planted, but yeah, cauliflower. Let's see. Got bell pepper. It's young. It may not make it. We'll see. Well, at least I know my peach tree is going to do just fine. I don't know how, but those survived the coldest of winters. I had a young peach tree in a big pot, and I didn't wrap it or anything during Snowmageddon, that February of 21. I thought, well, if it doesn't come back, I know it's going on. I was just expecting it to be gone, for it to die, but it actually started turning green on a few of the limbs, and then started budding leaves, and it's like, wow, it survived Snowmageddon in 21. A young peach tree, only a couple feet tall, in a big pot, and it survived those single digits for a week straight. Are you talking about Uber? How many rides I did last night? Slow as all get out. I got 5 rides in on Uber for $53 on a Saturday night in Austin, Texas. I went periods of almost 30 minutes straight before getting a ride request. So yeah, no one was really out, and it wasn't even cold yet. Now that front's blowing in, makes me wonder about Sunday night, just people tidying things up, going to work, getting home from work. Oh, special errands, going from one friends to another or family. I'm sure. Hi there, Mr. Cypress 268. Is that like a CB handle as well? I go by 249 here in the Central Texas area on Radio Skip on the Citizen Band radio. And then people locally call me Tackleberry. Says, do you listen to Eminem? But that's Eminem. Eminem. And you're Eminem. Do I listen to the band? I've heard a song or two by them, but they're not on my playlist. I'm sorry. I do have a little bit more peppier than chill type music. Oh, no problem. No problem. 268. It's just a roller coaster when you work. Primary work is driving Uber at late night. I do a few other things for small additional incomes. It helps a little bit here and there. Like I got the Play Octopus tablet in the car, that trivia game tablet you see when you get in that Uber. And I get about $25 every 3 to 3.5 weeks off of that from advertisements people have to watch while they're riding. Either that or in between gameplays. And then I'm a sales affiliate for EMP Shield. See, what is this? 268. This is going to be my last message because YouTube is only showing me to say one comment from now on because I got banned. Man, sorry about that. So you mean on the chats on live, I guess. Yeah, I haven't really been blunt or spoken a lot of words on other people's chats, so I haven't gotten any bad clicks, thank goodness. But man, I hope you have a good one. Or if you're just hanging there doing the lurking thing, listening, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to get rolling here in a little bit. I gotta go 10-8 or online on Uber, see if I can get some ride requests, finish out the week. It goes from Monday to Sunday on the work week for payout the following week. So that in 4 a.m. to 4 a.m. So the day and the week will be over at 4 a.m. Monday morning for the pay week of this last week here. But yeah, try to pad what I got. New Year's Eve was busy, and I think people are spent. That and they got rent coming up. You know, of course, here in the first days of the month. So I get it. They're not out during the weekend this weekend that much, and recuperating. What you doing? Hey, Mike. How are you doing? I'm just going live for a little bit before I go online on Uber. Excuse me. Man, it is windy out. That front's coming in out of the north. Things that weren't locked down, you can hear trash cans tumbling, other things slapping a wall that may have been a flat board or something. Oh, man. All over the neighborhood. They weren't expecting this much of a wind gust for that front coming in. You watch football, right on. I hear you, Mike. Yeah. Football, even the boys, the Cowboys, they're not in the playoffs or anything, so I think they're just giving their, second and third stringers some gameplay time, before their last game's over. So they started with their third string quarterback, and they had a few first stringers, some on defense, some on line, maybe on offense, and then played the Washington Commanders, I think, and lost by touchdowns worth by the very last few minutes of the game, so, or close to it. So yeah, I guess they gave the game to the Commanders that way, not putting in their first stringers for everything. But yeah, those third and second stringers tried hard. They did a few good plays. Not bad for not getting any game time through the whole rest of earlier in the year. Football, I don't watch it that much. I don't try to keep up with everybody and everything. Same with baseball, basketball, all those. The team I'm rooting for is you. I'm wanting you guys, hopefully, to have at least some short-term disaster preparedness. Just in case of these storms, and you can build on it from there, but everybody's got to start somewhere. So start for at least short term. Some extra food, extra water. Man, back in that winter storm, February 2021, that we had here, that bad snow and ice storm in Texas, we lost power for 5.5 days with those single digits. At least we still had natural gas pressure, so we still had our gas stove to be able to warm the house, boil water, because we were without water for 2.5 days. I was shoveling snow into buckets to bring in, and then melting the snow. Then we let it cool, and the sediment settle at the bottom of the pot, and ladle it out into our zero water filter pitcher, and that's how we had water to drink and for cooking. And for coffee, man, that was some smooth tasting water. Good filtered rainwater. That's some pretty smooth water. But yeah, we had to melt it first, and we kept some other water simmering in a small pot to put a little bit of humidity in there because it's so dry. And then let's see, man, with the coffee, all we had was those little cups that you put on top of your coffee cup, and you put the coffee grounds in there, and then you put the water, fill it up, and then keep filling up with hot water. And so it was just slow drip, drip, drip. But man, that tasted a lot better than the coffee pots coffee. It just took forever. So man, that was good too. It's like, why don't we do this more often? And afterwards, when we got the electric back on, and have a full pot of coffee ready to go. Yeah, it goes a lot faster. It's just convenience, even though it doesn't taste as tasty as slow drip coffee. But at least we have some of the small things. We have a little bit of backup food, stuff that we hadn't in the freezer inside since we kept it warm but didn't have electric. Of course, they were starting to thaw. We had to put those in a cooler, set it outside. Man, it froze it colder and harder than our freezer did, but at least it kept it frozen, and had to put a hard strap around the ice chest that we set outside with so the critters couldn't open it up and get to it. They would probably smell that stuff out there and try to get at it. So just wanted to make sure. We got coyotes that run around over here. I still get it on my outside front door camera, and I'm running past the house, between the houses, We got a lot of feral cats. We got a lot of those cottontail rabbits, little wild rabbits around here, and yeah, they're hunting them down every night. One time saw some neighbor's dog chasing a coyote real fast between the houses. Big golden long-haired dog chasing after it. Then the raccoons. There are a few raccoons in the neighborhood. They'll try to pry stuff open to get at food, whatever it is. So yeah, strap that stuff up, set it outside when it's that freezing out, you know, keep your cold stuff cold without having to run anything. But that woke me up. We got an inlet box, put on a breaker by an electrician, and now also a generator and cord. Roll it out, start it up, and be able to power up, you know, electric in the house if we lose power. So we can't run everything, all the appliances at once, but we can even run our AC, just not the water heater and our air conditioner at the same time, or other big appliances like our electric dryer, 240 volt. That'll suck a lot of juice. So we have to run one or the other while we can run different lights and watch TV on, you know, news on TV or something. I did get a smaller CB antenna for my CB in the car, so I can pick people up in that parking garage at ABIA, where all the people have to go to get picked up by Uber, Lyft, or taxi. I had to take my old taller magnet mount antenna down every time before going in that, and then after picking my ride up, I had to stop outside the garage and then set my antenna back up every time. And now at the domain, for the Uber drivers and taxis that come in on the rock roads on Friday and Saturday when they block it off to other traffic, they're forcing us out through a garage at the other end of rock roads. So I was having to take my CB antenna down before going in there after picking someone up, and then put it back up when you get outside the garage. So I got a short little antenna made by Caliber, K-L-I-B-U-R, and the model number is KMAG2, KMAG2, and it's very similar to the fixed position short magnet mount antenna that President makes. Very similar to that. It's pre-tuned at factory. You just have to have good placement on your roof to have sine wave reflection below against your output on your CB. So I did that, and mostly I listen on the CB because I listen to truckers giving traffic advisories on the highway here. I've been a ride hero with passengers because of them. They've helped me out, well, over the years more times than I can count, than I remember. You know, tell you peel off at this mile marker, you're going to be stuck on the highway for an hour. But thanks to whoever's staying with me for this duration. I see I got one listener now. I got two. Someone's come back. Howdy, whoever just tuned in. And hope you're not getting too cold wherever you're at with this cold front coming in. But yeah, I'm going to need to go online on Uber. So, guys, I wish you the best. Have a great night, great week. Stay warm as it's getting colder. And just prep for any possible short-term disaster. You know, stay stocked. Extra water, extra non-perishable foods. If you got extra in your freezer that you can go ahead and thaw out and cook and eat. And if you have something to cook it with when your power's out, that's good. So that's why non-perishables are easier, more simple. Peanut butter, new jar jelly, some bread, maybe crackers. Crackers will last a little longer. You can fold up that bag at the top, put a potato chip bag clip on it, and if it comes in a bag, on the crackers, be able to seal them up. But y'all have a good one. Gabe, how's it doing, Gabe? How you doing? Okay, I'll have a few more sips of coffee. Actually, I have a bad habit. I smoke cigarettes. Yeah, I get my coffee and smoke in before going online and getting a few rides, and I'll take a break, a stretch. You know, I'm not sure if I could do over the road truck driving. I would want a few more pit stops than what those guys do, man. They amaze me just staying at it, driving for 3 or 4 hours at a time, have pull over if they got to do a pedal brake, or if they do it like some of the pilots do and use a catheter. I don't know. But man, yeah, for me, I need a little something to break up the monotony of just driving straight on a highway for long hours on end. So driving Uber doesn't pay near as much, no. But it does get me by on a little bit. Just have to save the money I make when I have good days, for those days are really slow, or nights. Here we go. Break out the Zippo. There we go. And then I'll bust out the tar trap. So tar traps. Put on the end of the cigarette. You can see some, it catches some of that tar from the cigarette. That way you're not inhaling all that thick junk. So everybody's just staying home tonight. You still with me, Mike, or who's with me? Gabe, you still with me? Well, whoever's still with me. Wondering what y'all doing, just staying at the house, or did y'all have to get out tonight? Well, I guess they're not answering. They're probably lurking and listening like a podcast, you know. Well, they've probably got another website page up on a different tab. I do that sometimes with listening to people. More coffee. Okay. I'm starting to running out of mindful content to speak of. So, oh, yes, my vehicle shuts off in 26 seconds. Press OK to override. Okay. These newer cars. I wish when the key's in, you have it turned on, that it stays on. I even have a protective little Faraday pouch for a second key in case we get attacked with a high altitude nuclear blast causing EMP. My car will still run, but it might zap my current key I normally use, and so I have a second key fob key that I have in a pouch that'll protect it from that EMP pulse, you know, electromagnetic pulse. And that way I have it in my other pocket in case something like that happens. I got the EMP shield surge protector hooked on the car, the electrical system, so if you get an over voltage pulse like that, it'll shunt it to ground from the RF pulse and draw that through all the grounds on this car, through the relay and back to ground, so it redirects the RF type electromagnetic pulse that hits on the components in the system to what you saying? To chassis. Anyway, you want to know compromise? I'll tell you compromise. I want Manicot. I ate grilled cheese off the radiator. Oh, right. Grilled cheese that you made. That's pretty cool. If you gotta make you something, turn on. Are you talking about a car radiator? Or you're talking about a heating element radiator in a house? I'm not sure if the house radiators will actually get that. I mean, I'm down here in the South. We don't have too many of these water heated radiators. Phil, okay, from Sopranos. Did they do that in one of those episodes? Manicotti? Heat it up on a radiator like a grilled cheese? Is that what you're saying? Well, some of these radiators, you can heat up a lot of things. You put something, wrap it in tinfoil and set it in the engine compartment, pretty close to the exhaust manifold, and it'll heat it up if you're just sitting still. You don't want it to fall down and get caught in something, or belts or something like that. But yeah, if you had to, you got a little bit of fuel, you got to eat, but if you have to cook it, before eating it, if it's not pre-cooked or pre-cured. See, I ate grilled cheese on the radiator, like he made a grilled cheese on the radiator instead of a pan, because he wanted manicotti, but he couldn't get manicotti in prison, so he had to settle for the cheese. Okay. When my stove broke, I made coffee from mine. Mind you, it was instant coffee. Okay. Heated the water, put the instant in. Yeah. I do like the water boy. And you used a sterno. You heat the water with a sterno. If you got sterno, if you got a can, but you can use candles, to heat up other surfaces that you can then set other things on top of that surface. And that can work too. You just got to wait a while for it to heat up good. It'll take a good 15 to 30 minutes for a candle to heat something up, but it can work, and then you work your food on it. If you got several candles, even better. See through, you think 12 gauge is true prepper gun? See, light weaver, hey. My stove broke, I made coffee, yeah. So the 12 gauge, 20 gauge are both pretty good. And it's really a selection of ammo type. So my dad actually had me use this 20 gauge with modified choke to knock out the mistletoe in his oak trees, and it's safer than using a standing ladder, to get up against a limb and try to saw off a limb on the ladder when they're that high like that. And it's just, you gotta rest a little bit in between doing some of it, because you get tired of looking up. That's why I like those Duck Dynasty guys. They're laying down for those ducks to come over, and then they just pull up the shotgun, put it up, and just shoot while they're laying down at them. So that's fun. And then 12 gauge, yeah. I mean, you can get more load per bullet that way, as far as shot load and a shotgun shell, than a smaller shotgun shell, like a 20 gauge is smaller. But what I found with the knocking out the mistletoe, as long as I take out the limb about 6 inches before this systemic growth, at least that, and one shot I could take out a limb that's right about 1.5 inches with that modified choke with 6 shot. 6 shot is a good load for small tree limbs like that. And where that mistletoe comes in and it'll infect the tree. Birds start pecking at it, getting on their beak. They go to the next tree, start trying to poke holes like these woodpeckers, and then it infects the tree they go to and poke holes, and it's whatever's on its beak. Somehow it grows, the enzyme from it and everything, whatever of the mistletoe will grow in the other tree it goes and tries to peck at with that on its beak. So that's how it spreads easy. That or a hard wind blows something with a small limb and it goes to the next tree. But yeah, I mean, it's infectious and it swells up on a tree and can actually kill it after a while. If you have enough of it, though, I guess you can sell it in Christmas time. Pick it for Christmas and sell it fresh from mistletoe. Okay, Alpha. What do I think? What in the world? I don't know. It's blowing the dice and roll, because especially with super X-class flares, as far as our modern day electronic frontier, that everybody depends on electricity so much these days. I mean, for everything, for gas, for vehicles, for getting around, for receiving your goods, for everything from the convenience store to the hospital. If the grid goes down and it's not protected like Japan has protected, and it's, if you can't get it up for a year, within that year, you're going to lose 90% of your population without outside help. And we can lose it from also first strikes, usually from what we're seeing now, what they try to use first. They try to hack infrastructure systems, some country that's trying to do something bad to another country. And then next would be trying to send up and detonate a high nuclear or a high altitude nuclear blast, shall we say, to cause a widespread EMP. They'll take out a lot of electronics, but like here, it would shut down our grid. So doing that properly placed, we lose our grid, and man, that's almost like the end of the world. Lots going on right now with our magnetic pole shift, not flip, but shift. And the speed's changing ever so slightly with the rotation of the Earth with this shift. That can change patterns with, our ocean currents, and change weather patterns. And if you add other wartime stuff on top of that, right in the middle of solar maximus, and then we get hit with also a super X-class flare, solar flare, CME, causing a GMD, geomagnetic disturbance that way. Yeah, I think that will not help possibly the whole globe, because one side's getting hit probably with EMPs, and then the other side rolls around when you get hit with that giant X-class flare, takes out the other side of the globe. Yeah, it could be a bad thing. So yeah, better prepare. That's for sure. Sorry I wasn't looking at the chats for a few minutes as I was talking. Well, I'd say the more prepared you are, the better, to live it out longer until you have your old school methodology for harvesting food, back in place. Being able to get those seeds started, being able to get those plants going. being able to harvest your own plants and garden, and hopefully be able to trap, some prey, some food. So if you can trap, rabbits and other animals that you can eat, you might be able to trap some of those rabbits to be able to cage them and get several together and just keep them multiplying. If you can do that, as long as you have something to feed them with, plenty of different shrubs and grasses and stuff that they normally like to eat. Probably because you trapped them from them trying to get in your garden. Eating all the greens off your carrots. Man. Yeah, if you can do something, if you can go fishing, there may be some waterways that you can get to that you can go fishing, and where you get extra water. Because when we don't have any electric, after a while, their backup system's going to run out of fuel. They're not going to be able to pump water. And if you have your own means for electric generation, like solar, with a big off-grid capable battery backed up system, so you can bug in wherever you're at and still has some electric for other things, that's good. Might want to protect your handheld electronics in some sort of Faraday container, such as a popcorn tin. They work good. So order some popcorn, 6.5 gallon can of it with a good metal lid, and it seals up good. After you're done with that popcorn, clean it out and then insulate the inside around the sides, the bottom, and possibly the lid. You don't have to do the lid if nothing's pressing up against it. Maybe use thin cardboard. But anyway, so you can put your handheld devices, such as battery operated, or you can plug in to charge it from your other off-grid charging capability. Blood pressure machine, blood sugar meter. You need a lot of this as time goes on, because if you can make sure to take care of yourself by doing these simple checks and knowing where you should be, at least if something's starting to go bad with you. And just those basic checks can help give you an idea. Start storing some extra medicines. There's that, was it Chase Medical? I'm trying to remember the name of it. And they'll sell you basic antibiotics and other meds. It's not cheap because insurance is not sporting the bill for you, but they'll help do the prescription for you if it pertains. So you can have some backup, at least a 30-day or 60-day, I can't remember, amount of backup on basic meds. So if you can keep that on hand too. I know with painkillers we don't use that much. We go to dentists, we don't take the whole thing. The only thing we take the whole thing on is fulfilling the, antibiotics they want us to take. So we do take what's prescribed that way and don't always need the painkiller. So sometimes we might have, that extra strong aspirin of some sort. A lot of times they just prescribe nowadays, ibuprofen or some of the others. And it's like, what? Sorry, no more hydrocodone. Man, they got strict on that. But if you can get the normal meds you need in case you need it, get that those salves and ointments that you need for killing bacteria in case you get cut, in case you get burned on something from a fire, working with coals of a fire, heating up that barbecue pit, with wood, and you burn yourself. You might need start growing some aloe vera, at least keep some burn treatment ointment or sprays on hand. You usually don't need a lot of that stuff, so it'll last you a long time. Let's see, what other things can y'all come up with? Any other ideas? Simple preps. Simple preps. What do you keep? Of course, I know. Plenty of toilet paper. Oh, goodness. You gotta have that soft stuff for the backside, yeah. And if you still have water pressure, because, yeah, water, for sure, water. Thanks, Julie. Yeah. Definitely have to have plenty of water. I mean, during that snowmageddon, told you I was melting snow back in 21 February here for drinking water, but I was taking icicles off the roof eave all around the house because it was higher volume of water per ice for flushing water. So I had to melt a lot of that just to be able to flush once, and so I kept on going as we had more snowfall, and the warmth from the roof melted a little bit. It would drip down to the eaves and then refreeze as it's dripping off the eave from underneath the snow on the roof and become icicles. And it's more solid water, but we have tar shingle roof, so we didn't want to drink any of that because the oils that might wash off from the tar shingles, they would be in the water. Don't want to clog up our filter and stuff, trying to filter that stuff out. So we can avoid it, but you can use it as flushing water. And you need a lot more water for flushing too at one point in time. So that helps. Snow, it's all puffed up with air, so you need a lot more snow to make the same volume of water as you would icicles. And then, when it stopped snowing, we still didn't have water. I'm like, oh great, I better go shovel all I can and keep it in buckets inside. But now, no, I use milk jugs, keep it in a cold place, rotate them about every 4 to 6 months. From drinking milk, wash them out, fill it with tap water, and then set those out in the garage fridge, outside fridge, just to keep it in a cool, dark place so that plastic doesn't degrade. It's biodegradable out in the sun and heat, so keep it in a cool place out of the sun's UV rays, and it'll last. But you gotta keep it out of the sun and heat. You gotta also, if you can get some of the better water containers, I know it's not cheap, but if you can get 5 gallon down to some 1 gallons to pour off into from 5 gallons, make it easier to carry from one place to pour, it'd be handy to have the better containers. They'll last longer. Garbage bags and cat litter for waste, yeah. Garbage bags, I gotta go get another big old box of it from Costco. We get it in large quantity to save money, but it's good to have that little extra backup. Garbage bags can be used for a lot, because if you can't burn your waste, then you gotta store it somewhere. Yeah, I wish I had a kiln and some burners. Wish I could forge my own metal, like aluminum from cans or other things. Because if I had some cast molds of other items, I can make things. That'd be pretty cool. But you got to have extra gas for that. That, or you got to make good wood and coal with an airtight pump to be able to really heat up a fire from the coals, to be able to melt stuff, to make high temperatures. Do it like an old school blacksmith would have to back in the old days when they didn't have propane or acetylene or any of that. So Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm brainstorming. Me too, Philip. Any extra? Yeah, canning jars, pickle jars, canning pots. You name it. Even filled the kitty litter container for flushing. There you go. Yep, definitely. Um, they do make those, what's that, bathtub uh, bags? It's like a water container storage bag. So you can fill it up right there from the faucet in and hold it in the bag. And that way you keep the water. If you have any leaks in your drain, you know, it'll probably seep on you, so it'll hold it better. And you don't have any elements from air or stuff dropping into it. So yeah, that's a good idea too. But we do have 2 tubs. Well, one's a garden tub, the other one's standard tub. So either way, but at least you can save that water in one of them. Man, I know I'm rambling. What do you call a reluctant potato? A hesitator. Good one. Thanks for the jokes, the funnies. You used to say water. Yeah, but yeah, extra. Yep. Would care? You would care? You wouldn't care? What? What part are you talking about, Sunstar? Wound care. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's really small font in here. I got my little cheater readers here, but they're not real strong, so I can see a little further out, and this is up closer. Wound care, most definitely first aid. At least in even Army basic training. I got college accredited time for battlefield first aid. Believe it or not. So standard first aid learning is a good thing. And I'm sure we have plenty of on YouTube. Simulations and instruction. That way you can hopefully learn basic tips and wound wrappings and compression wrappings and other things you need to do. Even if you can, an easier thing, you know, is butterfly band-aids, to be able to pinch a wound together like a cut if you had to, instead of having to sew something back up. That would be handy and easy if you have plenty of them on hand. And then you could sew it up if you need to sew it up better, you know, after that. But initial quick pinch, you know, on a cut wound or open wound, that way, open wound, it depends how large the open wound is. Sometimes, you know, you gotta stop the bleeding what you can at first. If you have to cauterize with some sort of heating element or torch, there's all sorts of methods. I remember when I had my tonsils taken out, they used an electric arc cutting tool. So as they cut where they wanted to be able to get my tonsils out, it cauterized as it went. Now, you know, there's these little small, like, candle and stove lighters. They're electric arc lighter. They might be able to help burn a small whatever on the surface, or in a hole. You might be able to cauterize a wound, you know, with that. Shalimar. See, 1 year, 10-day outage. 1 year, 10-day outage. We just set the freezer out. Yep. That's an easy way to do it. Definitely, So, Shalimar, you're starting a church of Satan? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. How about starting a church for love and hope and helping and goodwill? If you believe in Satan, you believe in God. You know? So hopefully the better one will help. And at least one of us shows us what we need to do and what we should be doing. So, you know, oh, person, troll, oh, Roy, yes, church, Satan. Thank you for wishing me off in peace. What? Well, I hope everybody stays peaceful. I don't care what. When the proverbial peanut butter hits the air motion oscillation device, I hope people can work together instead of hurting each other. That's the big thing. I don't care at that point what you want to say you believe in doing or what religion you are. Hopefully it does not come off an attitude that says you want to harm others. Hopefully everybody won't harm each other. I know when you're starving, everybody needs help, but not everybody has everything for everybody. And everybody tries to work together some, you know, some things may work out good. We all have our skills. And someone have different skills that can help store the other one's skills harvest, you know? All that sort of stuff. Everybody's got to work together in what they know how to do. And teach others. Teach others. The more people that know what to do, the less people are going to be going after everybody else's stuff. If they're more self-sufficient after learning, that's great. Man, I've given rides to people that during that winter storm back in 21 here in Central Texas, man, they went hungry for a week. You know, wasn't but by the good graces of a neighbor that someone would finally give them something. And there's someone that doesn't fast, that doesn't know, have the experience on doing that, then when they have to, because of forced situation, not having food, you know, they're in a hard place. I know I've been talking for about an hour here. Yeah. Knowing the ways of Jesus, trying to be able to follow in his footsteps. I'm not sure how many of us could actually go as far as he did with having actual power over creation. You know, even the book of Maryam in the Quran, they even have stories telling about Jesus when he was an infant, that he grabbed dirt from the ground, blew on it. Well, he shaped it into a bird first, then he blew on it, and it gave life and became a real bird and flew away. And having the power, that type of power, and abstaining to be crucified, that was love and God's plan for giving grace and compassion to us. Yeah, Johan, it'd be pretty cool. That would be good. Hey, Jacob, what's going on? I'm not so savage, except for, I don't know, there's some of those vegans out there that say, oh, I'm so cruel for eating meat. Going out and killing that deer, hey, I make use of it. I try never ever to kill or injure what I'm not going to eat, unless it's something like a deadly snake. Deadly snake that could kill me, that's another story, and it's living in my house. My dog goes out there, no. That's one thing. And I have had beer battered rattlesnake, grilled rattlesnake, diamondback. When done properly, man, it tastes good. It tastes like beer battered and grilled frog legs. Not bad. Craig, no snow in Austin yet. I heard there's some on the northwest side of San Antonio from pictures that a friend posted on Facebook showing the snow. Probably about an inch they had there. But we just didn't have the moisture here, and we don't have, I don't know. We're having a cold air come in, but it's not freezing yet. My car's thermometer says it's 47. So gotta get along with rattlesnake. We have an understanding. I have a guardian angel story. I believe it, Jacob. Some people have that same good understanding. Don't mess with each other with wasps, One electrician came out and, yep, no problem with the wasp. And yeah, we had beehives, man. Only one time did I have one really chase me down and sting me. It tried to get at me. I don't know. It was mad, and maybe something else made it mad, not me. And then it was just after me. I ran around the entire house when I was a kid. Thought I got away from it. I'm back in front of the house again. Okay, I don't see it. All of a sudden I hear this zzz, right on my neck. Oh, it stung me on the back of my neck. Man, it got me. But we had 33 beehives at one time. My dad was a beekeeper as a sideline, and we did it like the Bluebell ice cream motto, eat all we can and sell the rest. So we sold to neighbors, local health food stores, friends, gave some as gifts, and then also we had a lot of natural dewberries around the house, like the natural Central Texas area growing blackberry type plant, and they call them dewberries, and we ate those, and those that we weren't going to eat, and they're getting, so they wouldn't get old, get used. We sold to neighbors. Same thing with eggs. We had 24 to 36 egg-laying chickens, and of course, depending what time. Then we had my dad's English pointer bird dogs. We had 8 cats. The caged raccoons that we had trapped because they're getting at our chickens and killing them. So we put them in a cage close to the chicken pen, not far from it, so other raccoons would see what happens to them. They try to get at our chickens. We didn't have any problems with raccoons anymore when we did that. It's funny, but true. Oh, and 2 pet peacocks. So we had a micro farm in a sense. Very small. We had 2 acres, but really only did this stuff around the house on the main acre. So we had a lot of bamboo up by the roadside. Man, it grew like crazy. Just wish it grew thicker in the bases. And then, but we were able to make, bamboo fishing rods out of it. Tastes like chicken, they always say. Well, actually snake, frog legs, it's almost like a cross between fish and chicken. So you got a little bit of texture, almost like chicken, not quite. Semi like fish too, sort of flaky, depending how you cut it. So, but it's just the snakes, it's not frog legs like where it'd be chicken wing. A little bit of stretched meat off the bone. You got a lot of rib cage bones, and you have to pull the meat out from that. Depending how big the snake is. There's no real way of filleting snake. Just not a good thick enough chunk of meat outside of the rib cage. So you gotta cook it with the with the bone. You can't flay it before you cook it. Just do it where it's still soft enough you can scrape the meat out from the ribs. But it's not bad if cooked properly. It's all about how you season things, prepare things. I mean, my wife does a wonderful stuffed venison backstrap. So we cut the amount we want, get the silver skin off, cut it down the side, to butterfly it open, and you put a little bit of cream cheese. She puts raspberry jam, a little bit of sriracha sauce to cut the extra sweet from the raspberry. Puts it back together, fully weave wraps it in bacon, barter it in bacon, in the oven for about 30 or 40 minutes. And like her family says, molto bene, They're Sicilians. I married a second-gen Sicilian that grew up in Chicago, and all her family knows many different great ways to cook. So if I can get the food, they can cook it. Yeah, it's not bad, Joseph. And it's a simple recipe, too. Simple. What, you got 4 other ingredients other than deer meat. And that's it. Unless you want to spice it up with a little salt, pepper, and maybe garlic powder. Do that. That's really good, too. So, man, I need to get my fishing license. Either that or the big combo license. That'd be nice to get again, so I can do the fishing or hunting, trap and get or take out feral pigs. We got plenty of them out. My parents, they're out in that Bastrop to Lockhart sort of area, and there's still a lot of feral pigs out there, and they eat the eggs, from the nest of the wild turkeys, and so they don't reproduce as much. But now they've been seeing more turkeys, so I think the feral pigs are a little bit less now out there. But for a while there, man, it was bad. You didn't see wild turkeys. So any ground nesting bird, man, their nest was ravaged by the feral pigs. So very invasive, and of course eating crops and other stuff from farmers. It wasn't good. So more meat for the freezer. They trap them about every 3 years when they populate too much by their properties. So bait them in, do that. And they used to be able to sell them to a pig farmer. If they're 80 pounds or better, he would give $50 a piece. And he had his license for transporting non-inoculated livestock. You have to have that just for that, because they're not inoculated yet, or a farm raised animal. So they are originally a farm raised animal. From the Spanish, they brought them here, and they just multiply like faster than rabbits. So never tried that. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I'm gonna have to get going. Thanks for letting me bend your ear, and we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully I can do a few more lives here and there. It's just been I've been trying to work, been a little busy trying to work, try to get some money, but it's been a slow week. And hopefully I can do something on that little antenna for the CB. See, some people like CEOs. Ooh. Crash test. CEOs. Is that a different acronym than what I'm thinking? What you talking about, Cash? Crash, sorry, crash. Yeah, I'm gonna have another bad habit here. Oh, come on, lighter. There we go. It's okay. Luigi joke. Oh, sorry, that one flew right over my head. the guy that killed this. Oh, in the news all week. Oh, that guy. Okay, right. The insurance CEO. Yeah, he took out him. Oh, sad. I mean, yeah, United Healthcare, they were not the best performing with customer service insurance company, that's for sure. But just to make a statement instead of getting their story out about what happened to themselves or loved ones with the insurance company, it's two different things. You know? So yeah, I get it. I get both sides of the coin on that, but it's as far as motive, but carrying it out is another story. It's, yeah. I mean, look, I remember the first words out of my platoon sergeant's mouth in basic training for my platoon. And I can't say them here. He said, I'm here to teach you how to someone. So, I know, but, it's country war against country war. That's, you're thrown into it, whether you're drafted or enlisted, You're there for the sake of your countrymen. And just going out and murdering someone is not the answer. I mean, the guy was a coward for the way he did it. And then also, he should have put better effort into getting his story out with the news instead of going and doing that. And then now he's just remembered for it, but you don't hear the rest of the story. They're talking about this one CEO that got hit, and then the rest of the story sort of gets mute and lost in the headline. So it doesn't help your story as much. It only draws a little attention, and then people don't go to look at the rest of it because they're so attention span is like short. So it didn't help. But yeah, there's other avenues. And there's social media all over the place that people can share about that. Some things can get ghost banded or whatever, not really pop up. But when someone shares and then other people share to someone to let them know, or a private message on info about something, if it's important enough that can make a difference for somebody, then yeah, it'll get out. Yeah, y'all probably helping me out here with this wind. I don't know, these cigarettes these days, unless you're actually smoking them, they go out. Whatever retardants they have for fire in there, I'm sure it's not good for me breathing in. Hopefully that tar trap helps catch a lot of it with the tar. Just so I can get a little flavor. There we go. There's one reason I post up my videos are not for children. So y'all have your two-way communication set up? Oh, okay. Yeah, Marble Special Select 100s. So it's a sort of like a Benson Hedges Deluxe Ultralight, or just shy of that, and I'm using a tar trap. So really it's just not near as much as a smoking one of the standard shorts. Winston's are the purest. Okay, I guess less chemicals. Yeah, the Special Select by Marlboro, they used to be called Special Blend. And one of my friends said, yeah, Special Blend. So at the end of the day, they sweep up all the choppings that, fell on the floor from the different flavors they put out, put them all together, and it's just blended together. Special Blend. Now they call it Special Select, so people don't think that. But nevertheless, I've been on here for an hour and 10 minutes, and I really need to get to work. I need to go online so I can see if someone needs a ride. Well, you guys, hope you all have a good night, a good week. See, I hear companies use an ingredient that black powder to keep the cigarette lit. I don't know. They used to stay lit on their own pretty easy. Maybe they took it out. Because now you set it down, if it's not smoked that much for a little bit, it just goes out pretty quick. So that way it doesn't fall out of an ashtray and light something on fire that way. I don't know. The black powder, it'd be fizzling off a lot better. Yep. I don't know about the black powder stuff. I've tried to burn it from old bullets when I make bullet jewelry. So I used to do that a lot. I've cut the head stamp side of the shell off on probably several thousand bullet casings to then use them as settings to put on jewelry findings. And I sold a lot at the gun shows, art markets and stuff, but it's fun at the gun shows. The guys are going to look at guns and gear, and the wife and kid, they're all at my table. So that and the guys, they're picking up a new toy, right, at the gun show, and they got to take something with for the wife or girlfriend, so they know they're thinking of them too and got them something. So they'd visit my table also. I'm in Mesa, Arizona. All right. Austin, Texas. ATX. And it's been slow here except for New Year's Eve on Uber. Just not everybody out except on that one night. I think they spent their paycheck that night. So I work late nights because of less traffic, and then also my eyes don't get tired from the glare of the sun all day. And plus, during daytime, so much traffic that you really can't get anywhere very quick. And the roads are congested here with our growth. We have a lot of construction, with still sort of bottlenecking things when they have to work on things, and it runs into the daytime. So it's like rush hour. There's no such thing as a rush hour anymore. There's rush hours, plural, now. So during the daytime, it's just too much traffic. I mean, I get canceled on so often because I'm just stuck there in traffic waiting 3 lights to be able to get through an intersection because of traffic ahead of me. And they cancel because they think, oh, he's not coming to pick me up. Well, I'm en route. I'm probably still the closest one to get to him. Then they try to get someone else, and it takes them longer for their driver to get there. Yeah. You went to federal prison in El Paso. So I didn't know they had one over there. I imagine they have a few here and there just to handle volume. Texas is a big place. How long did you have to stay in prison, Crash? Tuna. Okay. 70 months. That's about 5.5, 6 years. Somewhere in there. Wow. Talk about not having a lot of options of things to do. My goodness, 5 years, 10 months. Okay. And what do you do now? You working a good job, I hope, or something? You know, things are tight now, man. Budget-wise, price of everything, food. Goodness. I remember when I used to be able to get hamburgers for $1 at Shortstop. Hey man, that's a good way. Hopefully they give you a good deal on a meal per shift. I remember Taco Bell back in the day used to give one free meal per at least 4.5-hour shift. At least that. You had to work, and then they would let you have up to a certain amount of items, and I'd pick a taco salad. I'd pick a taco and a burrito, and that was my breakfast and lunch all in one. I was hungry through lunch rush, and when I got off, man, I was famished, and they let us have, without extra charge or expense, it was free, extra meat, extra beans, extra stuff with the taco salad. So you could only do the extras on one item, so I did the extras on that because I got the most bang for the buck, or bang for the freebie that way. Kind of like it. Manager kind of don't know his job well. I used to be a manager and I see him struggle a lot. Yeah. Well, if you're able to help that out, man, hopefully you excel in your job there and make the best of it. Okay. I'm not even sure what Taco Bell's doing. I think they give like 20 or 35% off. They're not doing that real nice to their employees these days. They could keep employees even better if that was a good perk where they didn't have to pay for it. You know, you limit the items per meal, sure. But if they gave them a free foot-long sandwich, you know, with a side, whether it's a bag of chips or whatever, per certain length of shift, and it's free, not having to pay, they just mark it down as an employee meal. Goodness, make them pay half. Restaurants used to give a free, meal. I remember Ponchos, they didn't give it to us for free, but it was less than half price. So we got a good deal on it. We could get to all you could eat, buffet. And usually it didn't take a whole lot. They let us have all the sopapillas and tortillas we wanted. But man, it's all starches. It's probably what helped burn my pancreas out a little bit. That's why I'm diabetic now. Goodness. But as we're doing our shift, waiting tables, while we're having to make more sopapillas or tortillas, and you take a little butter and a little honey, and they let us have what we want to snack on, just a quick little piece of bread snack, tide us over. But we don't have all those ponchos anymore. I guess they couldn't keep up with the cost of ingredients and everything and food. They couldn't keep customers as much with the prices they had to go up to. So it wasn't as affordable as it used to be, like, oh, what's that, 35, almost 40 years ago. Back then, you know, they could give a lot more. Today they can't. It's either that or they won't, because of their management or owners are looking too much at the books, saying, no, we can't give away that much. Traded with Papa Murphy's, so I ate pizza. Oh yeah. You can't have the same sandwich all over day and day. I get it. Yeah, at least at Ponchos you could get something a little different and a good variety of things, you know, if you wanted to. You had the whole menu at disposal instead of just a different type of sandwich. No, it wasn't just a different type of taco, you know. You have carne asada, or you have, you know, what's that, with a stuffed bell pepper that's cooked with the meat, or, you know, really it's sort of switching things up a little bit. And you get tired of it after a while too. I can get it. I get that, but I never really did. I just varied what I ate, and then Taco Bell, a taco salad, and stuff. It was, hey, when that's what you got, that's what you got. And as long as it wasn't something that was too bad for my body, which it wasn't. Yeah, I was in the National Guard. I was a reservist, so I still had to work for most of my money at civilian jobs. But yeah, they always ask those questions. Is anything getting you down? Are you sad? Are you depressed? You know, every time you go in for your physical, they always ask the same list of questions in 3 different ways to try to trip you up. So I always put it that, no, I don't have any depression issues or this, or it's sad, or some things are tired. Well, yeah, you get tired sometimes, but after a long day it happens. You know, it's like, come on. And my doctor's down to earth too. So somehow you asked your doctor a question and you ended up getting committed. Okay. Now you just have a lefty woke doctor, don't you? Or had one of those doctors. You know, it's probably in a way in Methodism you would say it to your doctor. You know, it's like, for me, it's like, well, I grew up in a family that loved to hunt and fish. I served in Texas Army National Guard for a single term, you know. I was a small arms repairer. That was my job skill. So basically I was the most basic of U.S. Army gunsmith. And so I was in a maintenance company. I wasn't 11 bang bang or anything like that, infantry. And then afterwards I got into working security. Then I got my commission for working armed security, and did that almost full time. And then at one point I did get full-time, then worked like the ponchos, just more or fewer hours, more relaxed hours. No, more relaxed schedule in a sense. Just more part-time with that, part-time at Pizza Hut. My other part-time was 1 weekend a month. Oh, and then working the door at a bar on 6th Street here in Austin, way back then. So man, that was a juggle. So let's see, Ponchos, Pizza Hut, National Guard, and so at least 3 part-time jobs, along with almost full-time, or considered full-time hours in security. Sometimes I didn't get a full 40, but I was still in full-time. And then worked at an electronics shop. My title was Home Entertainment Appliance Repair Apprentice. Did that for 1.5 years while I worked other part-time jobs. See, it is suicide. Well, depending how you do it. Now, if you're exercising your right on an actual parade march to sling carry a rifle, as far as spouting your 2A rights with others in a permitted group with your city to do that, well, it's you got the permit for it, and you set it up and got the authorization from city and state and your county. Is a whole nother story. Now to go up flailing and brandishing, a firearm in front of people is to aim it and towards them in a certain place, especially on government grounds. What do you think they're going to do? That's almost like 2 different methods and ways, So, and you don't just do it to try to get attention, to say it's your right and exercise it. That's not the best thing to do. Sort of like this one guy down at Quick Trip, one of the locations here in Austin, just the other night. This young adult drove up in a car, and he got out, and armed security there said, "Well, sir, if you're leaving a property like this, please, you can't leave it here overnight. We'll have to have it towed, if you leave it here overnight." And the guy made a comment back to the guard, "Oh, if you and I'm going to off you," and stuff, and then kept on trying to hide his face while he walked off the property. The guard went over and looked in the car. He's got 2 AR rifles exposed, visible from the back windows in the back seat, and a big duffel bag open with some vinyl gloves and other things. It just looked suspicious. And he's going to leave a car there with those in it, visible, maybe for someone else to come pick up and do bad things. Who knows what? This is going through the guard's head. Like, what do we do? So he called APD. They come out. They had they had 5 cop cars come over, check it out. They ran the plates, and they says the ghost car is not in registration. And finally, the guy came back, said he was sorry, he was with a girlfriend. He was drunk and had to leave. And he asked him, well, at least cover up your rifles and stuff, so other people don't try to break in and steal them or whatever. And he was like, no, I want to have them shown. I want to show it. Man, he was drawing a lot of unnecessary attention with having a bad attitude at the same time. It's like, some people are just asking for it. Physically asking for it. And there's a way not to be asking for it, yet still maintain your rights. You know, uh, you don't threaten armed guard at a place and have those weapons there and tell them you're going to off them. Tell them you're going to end them. It's not right. And so APD said, well, the car's on private property. If it was on the street, we'd just have it towed. And they just didn't want the paperwork or to mess with it. They didn't want any backside backlash, anything. So they're being lazy. Well, giving up your gun's a different story too. No, that's not going to happen for here. You know, if every gun owner was a orange dot in the map of Texas, the entire surface of Texas would be orange. Right? But it's not just about hunting and fishing. No, it's about your right to bear arms against a tyrannical government. Yes, it's the way it's written. But there's also Bill of Rights and other lawful practices of using a firearm, which includes hunting. You know, you get your hunting license, all that stuff. So yeah, it includes that stuff. Hello, Strongbow. And I'm sorry you tuned in a little bit late, and I've been talking, rambling on for an hour and a half now. So hope you all have a good night. I really need to get to work. It's already 10 p.m. here, and I haven't even gone online to try to get Uber ride request. So guys, hope you all have a great night. I look forward to talking with you again soon. And yeah, keep prepping. The first thing, so start prepping. That's one of my videos. You might check it out. The first thing, so start prepping. But y'all have a good one. Love you guys, man. Y'all take care.